Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Friday night? Hope you're having a good one. We got Buckshot Kid in here and the Dabble Jew, along with my good friend Mr. Joe Savard. Good to see you, man. Hope you've been doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Of course, a little business to attend to. It is the Christmas season, so right now, if you look at the crawl, you can go to the TomGullyShow.com and get unbelievable merchandise in our store. You can also hit cafepress.com/the Tom Gully Show, and you can get top quality name brand merchandise. Ooh, almost knocked something over there. Like this lovely Tom Gully Show clock, which is probably disappearing in the green screen, as well as many other things, shirts, hats, cups, trinkets, things that will beguile your family throughout the holiday season and add a focal point of praise and pleasure to any gathering. Also, if you'd like to support the show, you can go to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show, Or you can sign up for our Patreon. It's only $3 a month, and it's exclusive content you won't get to see anywhere else, updated each week. Right now, we have an interview at the Dominatrix and me in the airport getting really mad for about 18 minutes, and a documentary of my trip to Los Angeles to go to a press appearance. Just exciting stuff. $3 a month. You know, what's $3 get you anymore? Anyway, before we get into our topic tonight, which is a dude that did his own appendectomy, performed his own appendectomy. Okay, he was a lousy Russian commie, but still, more of a man than most of us will ever hope to be. A couple things I want to talk about first, though. First item is Stuttering John. Now, I'm going to admit that I have taken part in a good deal of, let's call it good-natured ribbing of Stuttering John. The fact of the matter is, whether we like it or not, Stuttering John was an integral member of the greatest radio show of all time. Can't take that away from him. Just can't. And if you want to demean accomplishments, go right ahead, but he did it. By hook or by crook, no matter what reason, he did it. Then the announcer at The Tonight Show and the 14 years he spent at The Tonight Show. Make fun of it all you want. Say he didn't do this, say he didn't do that. He was there. He was on staff. He got paid, and he was a member of that program, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, for 14 years. If you could accidentally do those things, wouldn't you? Kind of think you couldn't. And that's coming from the first David Letterman scholarship winner, and therefore, you know, not always the biggest fan of Jay Leno and The Tonight Show. Today, after what I will call weeks of people alleging that Stuttering John had not graduated from New York University, he busted out his diploma. Now, you can say that that's a fake. I don't think it is. I don't. And that being said, I'm not saying I'm never going to poke fun at Stuttering John again. He may be doing something poke funnable. I'll just say it. The surprise at the cockroach is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's wearing out. It's wearing out on me. The fact that Shuley, Bob Levy, Mike Morse, and Zenhauser are so funny people, is what makes me watch that show. They're just funny. They're just talented. They're just entertaining. That's my opinion on it. And guy deserves an apology. And even though I may not be at the front of the line, I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. You were right. I was wrong. You did graduate. And I've got some crow to eat after this show's over. The next piece of business is today on the BS show in the morning. My very good friend Joey C. had posted that tonight is his wife's birthday. I believe will be appearing on that program, which is at 10:45 Eastern time. And this is just what was posted in chat. Depending upon Super Chat donations, she may indeed be apparently doing some vivacious dancing based upon those donations. And there may be some disrobing going on. I'm sure nothing that would violate the terms of service of YouTube, but I, as a joke, posted that I would allow people contributing to this show to vie for chances to make me keep my clothes on. Ha ha, hilarious joke. I'll pause for a second to let you stop laughing. I think that's enough time. And Anthony Zenhauser, who I really like, and I thought we were on very good terms. We've agreed on many things. I appeared on the show one time, got along with him fine. I think he's immensely talented. He's immensely funny. I mean, I didn't make fun of him when he was on Phil Elmore's show talking about Star Wars or Lord of the... Okay, Lord of the Rings is different. It's different. I wouldn't make fun of that. But he said, yeah, dude, I agree. You really shouldn't take your blankety blank clothes off. And it hurt deeply in places, frankly, that I didn't think I could be hurt anymore. Okay? So what I'm about to show you is my response to that. Now, first of all, look at that fine specimen. All right? Who would make fun of that? Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, though. I'm not going to say anything about Anthony as far as taking clothes off, but look at that guy right there. Huh? Look at that guy. You didn't want to see that rampaging down on you in the Mid-American Conference in the mid-1950s or whenever it was that I was playing. But look at that specimen there. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Look at and then here's another one. Now, you're going to have to squint a little bit probably, and hopefully you're full screen right now, but look at the gunboats on that guy who's just about to rip it up with one of the legendary bands in Texas music. And I'm just throwing this one in just as a Lucky Strike extra because I was doing some work for a big radio network. But that's, come on, man. I'm not saying I could get a job as a stripper, but I'm just saying it hurt. It just hurt. So I'm not saying there's a beef here. And if there is, I'm squashing it right now. But just, come on. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this. You don't think they just sell these to anybody that's at the training camp, do you? Okay, they sell them to anybody that's at the training camp, but still, I'm sure if I was outside the realm of even reasonable possibility of wearing this training camp shirt, they would have said, look, we normally sell these to anybody, but you, sir, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Strip says, hi, Tom. Happy birthday. Only about 6 months off, but I'll accept it. We've got Q Sal Governal says, Skol. Well, if you're going to say Skol, then I'm drinking some store brand Dr. Pepper Zero. The richest and most aromatic kind. There we go. The Kahuna says, don't eat crow too soon. Yes, I know I need to eat some crow, man. I really do. I don't believe that's made up. I don't. Strip says, whoa, that's a trip. I was just goofing around. Well, so am I. Cool turntable on your YouTube page, Tom Gully. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's not mine. Strip says, don't worry, Tom. I'd watch you take your clothes off. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Joe Savard said, whose guitar was that? Let me see. You talking about this? The guitar in that picture? It's Jim Harrington's bass guitar. That's what you're talking about. Tyronus says, gully lore. Yes, we're experiencing some gully lore here. We're going to experience a little bit more later. SG Fanboy says, Tom, I just got off work. I'll be driving home listening to the Tom Gully show. And I guess, yes, despite my best protestations, I am the Tom Gully. Joseph R. says, dude, I love you, but keep your clothes on. Look, I don't have any track record of taking my clothes off. I'm just saying, if I did, it wouldn't be embarrassing. I'm a, fine broth of a lad. Look, I'm not... There comes a point where you just have to address it. There are people that should not be saying you should keep your clothes on, because it just invites return of service with topspin. And I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't. So I'm not gonna. The Dabble Jew says, aging like a good bourbon. Exactly. Exactly. I'm just going to call you Sal Governale, even though I know you're not. What's up, FG Fanboy? People greeting each other in the room. We love a cheerful chat room here. Hugh says, I'm starting to see a pattern with people who like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and soccer. I'm not into Star Wars. I'm really hate Star Wars. I love Star Trek. One is princesses and fantasies and things, and the other is science and crucial issues of a Shakespearean level involving philosophy, government, ethics, and phasers. Let's see here. By the way, 972-994-6822. But wait until I'm done with the story here. I'm going to read in a minute. Julian Caesar says, can we compromise body paint? Spoken like a gentleman. I agree hereby to the body paint compromise of 2023. Let's see here. Joe says, okay, I was worried about YouTube strikes. And as well you should. Let's see here. Is that the Q Governale? It is the Q Gov. I'm going to call you Q. I could call you QG, QGov. QGov, that sounds kind of cool. I endorse that. If you endorse that, let me know. Joseph R. says, body paint. Yeah, I can vote for that. Good. We're all on board with body paint. Excellent. Excellent. I think that's all the business I had to take care of to start the show. So, except for, look at that. Come on. 6'5" terror rampaging down upon you. And that is from my last 2 years when I played on the field. The previous two years, I was a goalkeeper. And that 18 by 44 square, oh, you didn't want to come down there. You didn't want to come down there. Someday. Well, Joe's asking, what am I looking at? Joe, if you look at the top of the screen there, you'll see that I have just headed the ball, and that will be going into the Ohio State net to tie the game 2-2, which was the final score. And you can see just a little trace of a smile, because I know it's going into the net. Well, yeah, I'm just saying. Try not to look at the length of the shorts. Are those prison fatigues? No, it's a soccer jersey, old school. It felt like prison fatigues when we were playing Indiana. Joseph Art, I didn't see that. I just got a girl caught your attention on the side. Well, that could have been it as well. It was quite a Lothario in those days. It was the Brad Pitt of those dormitories in the back, the Follick complex. All right, now to the topic of the day. Let me tell you about Dr. Leonid Rogozov, the man who performed his own emergency appendectomy. And for those of you who are a bit squeamish, you're going to want to turn your head, okay? The good Dr. Rogozov grew up in some Ruski town and became a doctor. The absolutely macho commie was a specialist in surgery, and when he was 26 in September of 1980, he manned up and joined the 6th Soviet Antarctic expedition as the team's doctor. I'm going to get that bloody one off of there. It was an unfortunate time to go to Antarctica because they had just finished building the base where he was staying, and the unforgiving winter on the pole had completely cut the 12-man team off from any form of civilization. In very late April, Dr. Rogozov woke up nauseous and feverish and developing pain in his right abdomen. As somebody who nearly died from appendicitis, I can tell you that that pain in the right abdomen thing is not a good thing. Now, Dr. Rogozov was no fool. He knew exactly what these symptoms meant, especially when they got even worse the next morning. He knew he would need surgery or he was going to die. And he's the only surgeon or doctor in the place. Well, here's what this guy, who will soon make the rest of us look like whining babies, put in his diary. It seems that I have appendicitis. I am keeping quiet about it, even smiling. Why frighten my friends, who could be of help in the first place? By that night, peritonitis was really kicking in. The nearest station was over 1,000 miles away from where Dr. Rogozov was, the Sorry, I practiced this a whole lot before the show. Novolazarevskaya Station, which I only mentioned to prove that I can actually say Novolazarevskaya. So, in the early morning of May 1st, and with his only assistants being a driver and a meteorologist, and all they did was hand him instruments and hold a mirror, Dr. Rogozov got down to business. Using only a little anesthesia. Remember, he couldn't use a lot of painkiller because he had to be alert enough to perform his own surgery. Dr. Rogozov made a 4 to 5 inch cut in the abdominal wall. Unfortunately, he cut past the wall and had to suture this excessive cut before he could even proceed. Then he found the appendix. Upon inspection, Dr. Rogozov determined that it would have burst within a few hours. He removed his appendix and applied antibiotics to the area. Now, Dr. Rogozov was experiencing huge nausea. And this happened just about a half an hour into the operation, so many pauses were needed to complete the operation. But 2 hours after starting, the operation was complete. 5 days later, his vitals returned to normal. 2 days after that, he removed the stitches. And a week after that, he resumed his duties. For this, he was awarded the Order of the Red Banner of Labor from, that's probably some prestigious commie award. He deserves the International Real Man Award, as these photos indicate. He spent the rest of his life after returning from Antarctica working in Russia and died in 2000. It's the only thing that ever got the best of Dr. Leonid Rogozov was lung cancer at the age of 66. Conclusion: some of those Ruskies, especially Dr. Leonid Rogozov, might have been lousy commies, but some of them were tough as nails. Let's get back to our chat room here. Body strikes, looking at frizz fatigues. Girl caught your attention. Boom. A girl would explain the ass flex. Explain a lot of things in that picture. Rogozov, barely knew her. Just as a side story, and I'll keep an eye on the chat here. By the way, 972-994-6822 is the number to call. It's in the crawl, if you'd care to. I had to have an emergency appendectomy when I was 24 years old. I had just returned from Chicago. I was shooting a TV commercial I had written with Michael Jordan. Did not want to leave that for anything when I noticed a pain in my right abdomen. I thought maybe I had busted a move on the dance floor at Uno's in Chicago. It sadly was not the case. I went to work the next day, and I was at a meeting. I was jaundiced. I was yellow, and somebody mentioned that, and I said, yeah, I don't feel good. That coworker drove me immediately to the hospital. They, at the emergency room, had me give some blood. About 20 minutes after I gave the blood, 3 doctors came into the room and said, we have to take you upstairs immediately. Your white blood cell count is through the roof. The chief resident came up, and he was pressing on where the pain was, and I don't really show pain very visibly. He's like, does this hurt? And I'm like, yeah, it does. It really hurts. He's like, but does it really hurt? And I said, yes, it's extremely painful. But he said, you should have been hopping around he told me later, you should have been hopping around on the bed. My appendix, and this isn't true of everyone, it's about 20% of the population, was actually behind my liver. So that's a little bit part of the story. So they didn't know what was wrong. They were going in for exploratory. When they got there, your appendix is about this big, about the size of a pinky. My appendix, oh, by the way, there's Dr. Leonid Rogozov reclining after the operation. My appendix was the size of a fist, and it had to be taken out with a bone saw. It had gotten that stiff. It was perforated. It was bad news. I spent the next 3 weeks on 24-hour antibiotics, and I have an 8-inch scar on my right abdomen to show for it. And I lost a whole bunch of weight when I was in the hospital, but I had to have new antibiotics every 4 hours. So every 4 hours, they came in and put a new deal. I had what's called a heparin lock. It's basically a needle with a rubber cover on the end of it that they can put other needles in because they didn't want to have to keep sticking me. They knew I would be, Anyway, almost died. Lucky to be alive. And, on a related note, if I did take my clothes off, you would see the 8-inch scar. Let me see here. Tyrona says, Titanium Ball Award. Yes, you get the titanium ball if you if you take your own appendix out. The Dabble Jew says, I had an emergency appendectomy as well. Well, hats off to you, sir. It's not fun. Joseph Savard says, we're glad you're alive. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm alive too. It was a weird thing. My mother is a nurse. My dad's a hospital administrator. And so when my mom got there, she was all over that doctor. She was an ER nurse. And she was all over him, asking him questions and this and that. They wheeled me down to OR. And before I went in the OR, there's a little like pre-op. But before you go into pre-op, there's a little hallway there or whatever. And my mom, who's a little melodramatic, she's, Tom, I just want you to know that if anything happens, we're all praying for you and we all love you. It's not what I want to hear going in there. Then when I got out, my dad started giving me this long speech about, well, you never know what's going to happen in life. You never really know. It could happen at any time. And all of us could go. We never get to choose when we're going to, but you're young and strong, but still. And I apparently, because I don't remember, I was gorked down on a lot of drugs. I looked up at him and said, so am I going to make it or what? And I may have said some other words in there that are not suitable for airplay. Yeah. And then they wheeled me into the OR. Those doctors listened to a lot of rock and roll music. There was a boombox in the OR. And they were listening to all sorts of stuff when they wheeled me in there. I think it was The Who. And I was already under a lot of anesthetic. I hadn't gotten the gas yet, but I apparently, according to Dr. Helmuth, I said, are you guys going to be listening to that godless long hair rock and roll bebop instead of paying attention to me? And they all started laughing, apparently. I don't know. I wasn't awake. I was, gorked out drunk. Hugh says, glad you survived, Tom, but stop bragging about the size of your appendage. Mine was the size of a fist. Joe Savar says, identify the good boy to take your room. Let's see here. Russia is kind of peculiar in that they seem to often perform appendectomies preventively, sort of like getting your tonsils out, at least during the Soviet times. There's really no reason not to. Only thing that can happen is it's going to go bad, and if it does, you better be close to a hospital. It's not like you got to get there immediately. But if you're on a camping trip and you're going to kayak down the river 20 miles to, you know what I mean? Or if you're on a plane. SG Fanboy says, you almost died then, and now you're killing. Hey-o! Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. So there. That's where we are, 24 minutes into the show, 972-994-6822. Share your medical emergencies in the chat room if you'd care to, or you can even call in. I don't care. Stories coming up on the Tom Gully Show will include, whoops, the wrong piece of paper. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. We are going to cover, this is very similar, but there was a doctor in Chicago. He was, I think, a herpetologist. He was a specialist in snakes, poisonous snakes, deadly poisonous snakes. And he received a bite from one of these snakes, and thinking he was going to be okay, he kept a diary of the things that were happening to him before he died. We'll also be covering the story of the David Bowie and Bing Crosby Christmas collaboration, which is actually a more fascinating and bigger story than you may know. Let's see, I already showed that one. Bog. Oh, gosh, bog. Bog. Well, I'll read the thing. It's going to take more than appendicitis issues to kill Frankenstein. Yes, and Bog is actually the gentleman that's responsible for my favorite thing right now in the world. This is something he created with AI. Is that not me? Is that not me? I love this. I want this poster size on the wall behind me. There you go. Dabblejoy says, I read that snake account. Boomslang ID error. Yes, he ID'd the snake improperly, and I think eventually was having some misgivings about the identification when blood started coming out of his eyes and stuff. The Dabblejew says, see my avatar. Herpetologist here. True. Okay, so you know all about this story. It's notable because this guy was a world expert, and therefore the notes that he kept were extremely precise and of great value, apparently, to people that make serums and antidotes for snake bites. The Dabblejew says, correct. Yeah, he at one point in time or another was like, I don't know if I identified that snake correctly. Everybody that he was involved with told him, you must go to the hospital. You must. He didn't. He went home. And then I think he even tried to come back into work the next day, but by that time it was too late. Too late. Julian Zeezer calls it a boom slang. Boom slang. Boom slang. By the way, Joey C's wife, her birthday celebration tonight on Catalano TV at 10:45 Eastern. The Dabblejew says the information he recorded were valuable later. Yes, thank you. yeah, didn't do much good at the time. At the time, it was, cows were out of the barn by that time. But, it just goes to show you, no matter how big of an expert you are, it doesn't mean you're smart necessarily, That's about all I got. 972-994-6822 is the number to call. Don't know what's going on this weekend. Stuttering John's show today. John, when he has guests, is incredible. I'm not going to say that he's not, a good when he's by himself, because I haven't seen him do a show by himself that's anything but anger toward the Dabbleverse. Now, the Dee Snider interview he did was awesome. And today's show, he had Ray DeVito, who I'm mildly interested in. He had Vince the lawyer, who I have an extremely low opinion of and don't care to listen to him say anything. In fact, John today had to kick him out of the show several times because he was trying to take it over. I just have no use for that guy. Hitman Dan made an appearance, which was spectacular. But John made that show really awesome. I enjoyed watching it. I know John has said many times he doesn't need guests. I'm not going to debate that. I'm just going to say when you have guests, not only do you shine, but they shine. Now, critics will say, oh, he's this way, he's that way, and blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. I really don't. I laugh. I enjoy the shows. He seems to get some really genuine moments of spontaneous, cool stuff. So, yeah, I could sit and point out all the negative things all day long, but they've just been bandied over and bandied over and bandied over. I'm getting to the point where I've reached saturation. Another show I'd like to point out, though, that I really love, and this is all very conflicting for me, because obviously the Shuley Network does a lot of making fun of Stuttering John, and I love those guys. I think they're incredibly talented. I think any show they did would be awesome, but I don't like it that I can't go on Opie Radio, and when he's having a show that I'm interested in, or I like the show that he does, I'm feeling like a traitor because certain shows in the Dabbleverse want to ridicule him. I don't feel like ridiculing him. There are people on the internet I feel like ridiculing. One of them is named Kevin Brennan. I just don't like his show, and I don't like what he does. And, I'm sure he's a good guy. His family likes him. He's making a living. I don't begrudge him that. His show's just not for me. That's all. Some of the things that have been done to Kate Meany by him and Patrick Melton, I just think are bullies. They're just bullies. She's a 24-year-old girl trying to make her way into the business. She's trying to network, trying to hook up, trying to make a name for herself. And like I say, hook up with people that are known entities in the industry she's trying to, pioneer her way into. And to sit there and just pick at somebody, and it's just, I don't like it. I know, I'm old school. I don't think it's gentlemanly. If she was abrasive, if she was insulting, if she was a whole bunch of other things, I'd say have at it. Not the way I see it. There's a lot of punching down going on with that program. That being said, Pat Dixon is on that program. I think he's got one of the best shows streaming. It appeals to me. He's smart. He's a little intellectual. He's intelligent. He's funny. And I like the way he does his program. I don't want to feel like, he's part of them, so I can't be there or comment or whatever. It's just a lot of conflicting stuff. But Stuttering John deserves a little victory today. I know a lot of people are going to go, what's a pizza paper prove? And we called this guy and we did this and we did that. I'm done listening to that. Just done. If somebody comes out and proves, the head of NYU comes out and makes a statement or something, okay. I guess you could convince me otherwise. But until then, I'm done listening to it. Just done. It's time to take your foot off the throat on that issue. I'm always going to laugh at certain things. There's some of the songs that have been created. I'm just going to laugh at them. The cockroach, I'm going to laugh at that. It was funny. If it happened to me and I did that, it would be funny. So anyway, let's just see what we've got in here. Let's just see. SG Fanboy says, the man in my home state that milks snake venom, his hands look like a fireworks salesman's. Well, there is a guy, a snake wrangler, who's been bitten so many times that he's immune now, or pretty close to it. And his blood is very valuable in terms of rented lips, in terms of transfusion for snakebite victims. Let's see here. The Looney Tunes critic. He says, we've been mishearing him. He didn't graduate from NYU. He told the college they should give him a degree for no work, and they were like, NYU. Okay, now that's a funny joke. That's a funny joke. It's like when I said NYU didn't graduate. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. And you know what? Even John laughs at the funny jokes that people make fun of him with on his show. You know, and he'll say that. He'll say, now that's funny. But I don't know. There's certain things on the internet I'll never get tired of watching. I never get tired of watching sovereign citizen police stops. I never get tired of watching the Golazzo show on NBC Sports with the soccer stuff. There's just certain things I can watch and watch and watch. And that's been true for a decade, if not more. But certain other things I get burnt out on. And I'm starting to get burnt out on the constant, the tiniest thing somebody does or says being turned into somebody didn't do what I would do. So I don't know. You got Carl and the who are these podcast group. They don't always do Stuttering John. They do a lot of it. They don't always do Opie. They do a lot of it. But he's got other shows. You know, he does Who Are These Socials? He does The Creep Off. But still, it's just a little too much at times. And I don't begrudge people liking it and really getting into it and enjoying it. And if you do, more power to you. I personally, it's the kid at the bus stop. You know, everybody's making fun of him. Well, the first 2 months, it's funny. After that, we did this yesterday. I know there's always new stuff with John, but I don't know. Just the way I'm feeling. The Looney Tunes critic said, did you see the sketch from Bob and Dave about the civilian detective dash cam guy who keeps trying to get arrested and the cop isn't just nice to him? For some reason, Netflix removed it. Netflix, they're schizophrenic in what they keep up and take down. William Hast of the old Miami Serpentarium pioneered daily Lovos venom immunity. That's pretty awesome to know. And SG Fanboy says, bravo, Looney Tunes. Bravo. Stephen Campbell says, nailer, Tom. Well, I was having a talk with somebody else about this very subject. And I said, I'd like to have Kate Meany on my show. And I just noticed Frankenstein has been up here the whole time. Okay, that may have slightly degraded the credibility of everything I've just said, but I started to notice the Kate Meany stuff, and I was talking to somebody else in the Dabbleverse, and we both agreed that we were of an age that we would look like creepy old guys if we had her on our show or reached out to her for that purpose or whatever. And then we both also agreed, and I'll just say this, I got no use for creeping on a 24-year-old girl or, you know, having any sort of relationship other than a totally platonic, professional. I'm an old guy. I don't want no part of that. Thank you. I prefer my lady friends to be gently pre-owned. You didn't hear that, did you? Good. Upstairs. So, you know, there you go. Stephen Campbell says, hey, Tom, is this live? I don't know. It could be delayed. I would tell you, but I don't know. I honest to God don't know. Karen Garvey, yes, said, I thought when Tim exposed John's lies, it might be the end. I don't understand what else there is to be said about Stuttering John. I'm sure there'll be things. I mean, I'm sure there will be. I mean, we can all be goofed on. All of us. Me at the front of the line. Incidentally, I'll also point out, look at the numbers on my show. Should anybody listen to me or take anything I say seriously or worry about? No. But I am doing a show. It is how I feel. So I'm going to say it. Hat Crime says, hey, Tom. Hello, Hat Crime. He says, pre-owned women are the best. I don't want to get politically incorrect here. It was just a term. Just a term. Let's not have that, trending on Twitter. Karen Garvey says, super cranky travels with Tom. Played this video a few times while I booked a flight today. We did not choose American Airlines. The taxi ride home, and she's laughing so hard she's crying. Karen's one of the very few, who have signed up for the Patreon at patreon.com/ I think it's The Tom Gully Show. Wait, what's it say in the crawl? Hold on. It'll be up here in a second. Anyway, she's been kind enough to show up for that. Also kind enough to make a donation to the PayPal. I'm her number one fan right now. She is just wonderful. I don't want to totally spoil it, but something happened to me. Many things happened to me at the airport during that 18-minute clip where I went up and I did the sort of coverage of Coach Gene Katie's golf tournament for charity. And so I had to fly to Indianapolis and fly back. And one of the things that happened to me on the way back is probably what she's talking about in the cab ride on the way home. So it's well worth the $3, I think, but who knows? Who knows? It's stuff I couldn't put on the air probably on YouTube. Stephen Campbell says, any plans for Christmas, Thomas? My family lives up in Indiana, and I'm not going back home for the holidays. It's just too far, too cold. So my steady gal and I've been invited to her family's celebration. I don't know. There's a good chance that I'll either be on terrestrial radio that day for a good period of time and then just come back here, great food, chill out by myself, watch some movies, or go to some longtime friends' home in north of Dallas. So no real plans yet. Playing it by ear. I'm just not... when you don't really super know a family and you're there, everybody knows the inside jokes. It's exchanging of gifts. They may or may not have known you were coming. You don't have a place of prominence in their lives. So even if you give them a gift, they probably forgot to give you one. It's embarrassing for them. You don't want to do that. There's a lot of, just staying home sometimes is, watch It's a Wonderful Life. And then right after, Die Hard. Hat Crime says, I love Christmas. A lot of people do, and it's a wonderful time, and enjoy it. So, yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't want to be a Grinch, but I really enjoy staying home on Christmas rather than do other things. But I used to perform at a roadhouse here in Texas on Christmas. I did enjoy that. I have a long-standing habit of on Thanksgiving, not always, but for a long time I did it every year. I haven't for the past couple. On Thanksgiving, I would go work at a church's meals for the homeless deal. But the holidays, whatever. This is something we should debate here and debate now. We can debate it all the way to Christmas. Stephen Campbell, and he is correct, says Die Hard is the best Christmas movie. 100% correct. 100% correct. Some people, sad people, say that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And to them I say, why is McClane, not John McCain, that would be a different movie. Why is he going out to Nakatomi Tower? Why is he doing that? Oh yeah, it's Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun. It's Christmas. There's Christmas music in it. There's Christmas decorations in it. The reason that Hans Gruber and those guys decided to attack on Christmas was there wouldn't be a lot of police or a lot of goings on and a lot of. It's not Christmas for me until I see Hans Gruber fall from the top of Nakatomi Plaza. God bless us, everyone. Dave Dorr says, it's a day off work, you know. Let's see here. Stephen Campbell said, would Dumb and Dumber be a Christmas movie? I'm usually pro-choice. I'm like, let's be inclusionary, not exclusionary. I actually have only seen that movie once, so I can't say for sure. SG Fanboy says, I used to love Christmas until I became the one putting toys together at 3 a.m. You got that right. Karen Garvey's laughing at that. Dave Dorr says, it was a company Christmas party. Exactly. Now, I know all the building hadn't been finished, but all the other tenants were not in it because it was, oh yeah, Christmas. If you don't think that's a Christmas movie, I just felt your heart get 10 times too small. You're a sly one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a cat. You don't like Die Hard on Christmas. Anyway. Hat Crime says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It takes place in a fictitious universe where German terrorists are actually a thing. Well, I don't think Miracle at 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, or Elf took place in a real universe. But you are entitled to your opinion. Misguided, wrong, hurtful, the scourge of the nation, though it may be, you are entitled to it. Just kidding. Stephen Campbell says Lloyd has a dream where he's lighting his flatulence on fire at a Christmas party. Oh, well, then it is a Christmas movie. God bless us, everyone. There's about 9 versions of the Scrooge story, and every TV show, including sitcoms, has done their Christmas Carol rendition, including Gilligan's Island. Think about that for a second. Let's see here. SG says, and a fictitious world where Alan Rickman is German. I love it when Alan Rickman pretends he's like an American and he's lost in the building. You know, don't hurt me and all that. And then McClane gives him a gun and doesn't put any bullets in it. Outfoxes him. It's pretty awesome. I like everything about them. And I like all the Die Hard movies. As a matter of fact, I own them all. Every one of them, including the last one when they're in Russia. I think my favorite one might be Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's got that kid from Jeepers Creepers and the Mac PC ads in it. Justin Long, that's his name. And he's the tech nerd, and Kevin Smith is a tech nerd. Timothy Oliphant is the villain. SG Fanboy says it's better than the German accent. I just got the feeling that more than a German accent, I got the feeling that he was probably educated in England or somewhere. And it's interestingly, a lot of Europeans, especially Germans, speak their English with a British accent because that's how they got taught to speak English. So I met a lot of German people who actually, when they speak English, their English has a British thing. That doesn't sound very... That when they're speaking English, their English has a British thing. We got about 11 minutes till Uncle Phil Elmore goes live. We will be out of here by then. Let's see here. Stephen Campbell is asking, what's the worst you ever beat someone up, Tom? I'll get to that in a second. Karen Garvey says, I have not seen Die Hard. I'm assuming it's better than just another action movie. Sarcasm. I have no excuse now. It is really good. It's super good. It's funny. It's really good. There's no way to put it other than that. Hat Crime says Christ is King, Luke 19:27. Now, the worst I ever beat somebody up. I'm not going to say this is beating somebody up. And I really don't want to tell this story. But I'm honor bound because one of the people in this chat room has asked me. So I'm going to. I do recommend that you do watch Die Hard, Karen. Unless that's just not your thing. But it is really good. SG Fanboy's saying watch it. She's saying I will. Yeah, there's no shortage of places to see it, that's for sure. My freshman year in college, I was playing goalkeeper for the Ball State Fighting Cardinals. Sorry, there you go. And I'm not going to mention the team we were playing against, but it's a conference rival. It's very early in the season. Might have been the first home game, I can't remember. And I was spat upon by a member of the opposing team while I was punting the ball upfield. And I, using words I can't repeat here, suggested to him that he not venture down into my penalty area ever again, or he may have cause to regret it. I'm not going to go over the details because that would be mean. I will just say that between 10 and 15 minutes later, an ambulance was driving onto the field and he was taken to the hospital. It happens. It happens. It happens. The Dabble Jew says, just pop Die Hard in. Yes. Yes. SG Fanboy says, Tom, Die Hard watch along. Just saying. I don't know. I've been thinking about this, and if enough people want me to, I will start a Discord for this show. As you guys all know, by the way, like, share, subscribe. If you could at least hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing, this show. It's just a click. People that talking. Those of you not hitting the like button or subscribing, people are talking. Just saying you're cheap. I don't want that for you. I know you're not cheap. I know you're classy. You're very, very classy. So we have, a very small group of high quality subscribers. And so I don't know if it'd be worth it to have a Discord, but if we ever did have a Discord, then we could have watch parties in the Discord. Just saying. Steven says, you just box him and he takes downs ground and pound? No. There are times in soccer where a field player has you're at their mercy when you're on the ground. When you just made a save or the ball's loose and you dive to get it and you're at their mercy. You will sometimes justifiably in the run of play get stepped on, kicked, whatever. Sometimes cheap shotted. Pretty bad. There are other times when people come down to your end of the field where, say, on a corner kick or when the ball has been crossed high into the air and they're running onto it and it's being contested by you and that player, that they're at your mercy. And on this particular occasion, the second thing happened. And you play enough of a sport, you can make anything look like you were just playing the sport and weren't deliberately trying to use your elbow in such a fashion that might have made someone unconscious and bleeding. I'm just saying, those are the intricacies of the game. I love Die Hard 2. Oh, yeah, by the way, 6'5", rampaging down the field. That's all I'm going to say about it. I love Die Hard 3, especially the part where Bruce Willis puts that sign that says, I hate. Yeah. I do love Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah. Oh, yeah, your girlfriend. The last time I saw her, I think she had a Chevy up her. Anyway, or whatever the car was, an SUV. Karen Garvey says, I'm always that person that forgets to hit the like button. Karen Garvey, you can forget to hit the like button anytime. You have supported this show in ways the vast majority have not. So you are excluded. You are given special dispensation from now until time memorial to not hit the like button. Stephen King says, you dirty dog, you dirty dog. I seen you there. I can't do much of that voice. Anyway, that's a little Christmas whatever for you. Let's see here. Hat Crime says, Tom should challenge Stuttering John to a boxing match. I would not box Stuttering John. I think we're roughly the same age. I don't drink. I work out regularly. I'm 6'5". Wouldn't be fair. I don't think Stuttering John should box anyone. He's getting up there like I am. I don't want to box anybody. Topo Gigio says, so you were given a red flag? Suspended? It's a red card. And no, there wasn't even a penalty. If you know what you're doing, just looks like you're playing ball. And it's just an accidental collision of two players playing very aggressively. And don't spit on somebody. Don't do that. Not on me. And it wasn't a glob of spit. It was a spray that apparently players from a certain region do. And don't do it no more. Ethan Ralph. Steve says, Ethan Ralph? No, I wouldn't box Ethan Ralph. I wouldn't box any of these guys unless they made a big show of it and really. Oh, I'd like to box Patrick Melton. Bet he wouldn't do it. Groat Scroat says he has performed an unnatural act upon the like button, which is not cool. Stephen Campbell says, baked Alaska? Topo Gigio says, sorry, card, go Chelsea. Chelsea? The team that got rid of the best American player of this generation? Chelsea? They're not the Kings of London. We all know who the Kings of London are. Their jerseys are red, and they're in North London. And they are the glorious Arsenal Football Club. Anyway, Karen Garvey says he learned his lesson. I don't know. Never talked to him again. He didn't have much to say when he was... Jesse P.S., I wouldn't fight Jesse P.S. ever. Wouldn't harm a hair on that man's head. He's a fine gentleman and extremely, extremely talented. What do we got? Oh, a minute and a half. Stephen Campbell says, Santa Cruz Joker, wouldn't fight him either. Stephen says, you'd be a hero. I don't know if he took the first swing. But those are... Santa Cruz Judge is a small guy. Anyway, we got about a minute. You're going to want to go to Uncle Phil's. Thank you all for being here. Like, subscribe, hit the button, contribute, do all those things. Maybe we'll do a show this weekend. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Jesse and I are buddies. With that being said, the only thing left to say is, till next time, and go see Uncle Phil. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go see Uncle Phil. Till next time, we'll see you next time. Oh, sorry. I got to bring the thing back to the start of the...